They were delicious, those sherbet suckers. The sherbet fizzed in your mouth. And if you knew how to do it, you could make white froth come out of your nostrils and pretend you were throwing a fit. Gobstoppers, costing a penny each, were enormous hard round balls, the size of small tomatoes. One gobstopper would provide about an hour's worth of non-stop sucking. And if you took it out of your mouth and inspected it every 5 minutes or so, you would find that it had changed colour. There was something fascinating about the way it went from pink to blue to green to yellow. We used to wonder how in the world the Gobstopper factory managed to achieve this magic. How does it happen, we would ask each other. How can they make it keep changing colour? It's your spit that does it, young Thwaites proclaimed. As the son of a doctor, he considered himself to be an authority on all things that had to do with the body. He could tell us about scabs and when they were ready to be picked off. He knew why a black eye was blue and why blood was red. It's your spit that makes a gobstopper change colour, he kept insisting. When we asked him to elaborate on this theory, he answered, you wouldn't understand if I did tell you. Pear drops were exciting because they had a dangerous taste. They smelled of nail varnish and they froze the back of your throat. All of us were warned against eating them, and the result was that we ate them more than ever. Then there was a hard brown lozenge called the tonsil tickler. The tonsil tickler tasted and smelled very strongly of chloroform. We had not the slightest doubt that these things were saturated in the dreaded anaesthetic, which, as Thwaites had many times pointed out to us, could put you to sleep for hours at a stretch. If my father has to saw off somebody's leg, he said, he pours chloroform onto a pad and the person sniffs it and goes to sleep, and my father saws his leg off without him even feeling it. But why do they put it into sweets and sell them to us, we asked him. You might think a question like this would have baffled Thwaites, but Thwaites was never baffled. My father says tonsil ticklers were invented for dangerous prisoners in jail, he said. They give them one with each meal, and the chloroform makes them sleepy and stops them rioting. Yes, we said, but why sell them to children? It's a plot, Thwaites said, a grown-up plot to keep us quiet. The sweet shop in Llandaff in the year 1923 was the very centre for our lives. To us, it was what a bar is to a drunk or a church is to a bishop. Without it, there would have been little to live for. But it had one terrible drawback, this sweet shop. The woman who owned it was a horror. We hated her, and we had a good reason for doing so. Going to leave the reading there, and I will at some point be delving a little bit further into that chapter with you, and we'll hear of the incredible story that accompanies the woman who owns that sweet shop and how Roald Dahl and his friends get sort of embroiled in a sort of tricky plot to get her back. But what I wanted to just briefly mention there, guys, was that this week, and obviously there will be some more notes on the website to accompany what I'm going to tell you now, you have a choice. You have a choice between two different tasks. Option number 1 is for you to write an instructional type text inspired and based around the idea of Thwaites' father sort of inventing this very elaborate method for creating licorice bootlaces. I'd like you, if you fancy it, to come up with your own sort of gruesome sweet and come up with a method for how that sweet has been created. So that's option number 1. It'll involve writing some instructions. And the second option, if you would prefer, is for you to actually imagine that you've been given the task, you've been commissioned to create a brand new delicious sweet to be sold in shops all over the country, all over the world. So imagine that Cadbury's or Haribo or one of those big brands have given you the task of actually creating a brand new sweet. I'd like you to write a description of how delicious that sweet would taste, and then also to come up with a sort of some packaging. So actually to design some packaging, thinking about the colours and a slogan perhaps to go with it and a name for the sweet, as if you were going to kind of take it to market and have it as sold in shops as well so people can buy it, okay? So those are your two different options, and as I say, there'll be lots more detail on the website to go with that as well. So that's me checking out now. Good luck with the tasks this week. I hope you enjoy them, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye.